Hello, my yarny friends. I'm Sara Sach, and welcome to my crochet channel, or welcome back. Today is Friday Fun Day, and I have a really fun project for us to do today. We're going to be making mini mandalas that you can hang up. Here's some that I made. This one is done with Vanna's Choice yarns. This one I did with ombre yarns, and I did cut the yarns in order to do one row of each of the shades, and I love how that one turned out. And then I also did this one is a patriotic one, and these are super easy to make, and they're perfect for a garden room, a kitchen, a bedroom, a baby's room, and you want to just add a little pop of color. They also make a really great gift. And they're light enough where you can hook them on one of those things that stick to the window and hang them in the window as well. So there's lots of fun things that you can do with our mini mandalas. Now you can find this written pattern as always on my blog, and I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. To make these mini mandalas or mandalas or however you want to pronounce them, I don't care. They're just lovely and fun to make. You're going to need a 6-inch ring. Now I purchased this one at Hobby Lobby. It was $1.29. And I actually bought 4 of them because I wanted some different colors, because I'm going to use these in my garden area. I think they'd be fun to hang up around. Maybe it'll help keep the birds away. I don't know. I just know they're beautiful and fun to make. All right. Now, if you do not have a metal 6-inch ring, there's a couple of things that you can use. You can use a lid of, say, a coffee can or container, as long as it is 6 inches. Just cut the inside out, and you've got that hard area on the outside that you can use. Another thing you can use is a Cool Whip lid. And again, cut out that middle section and use that hard edge. Some of them might be a little bit smaller. So if you're using a ring that's a little bit smaller, you may want to go down a hook size on your crochet hook. We're going to be using an H, which is a 5mm crochet hook. Now, as far as the yarns, these are all medium weight number 4 acrylic yarns. You can use cotton or any fibers that you want. All right, it just needs to be a medium weight number 4 yarn. Now I'm going to make a pastel one, and so I cut some sections off one of my Ogo that I had, the Ogo yarn. It is still Red Heart Super Saver, but I had some left over from a previous project, and I thought it'd be really fun to make one in pastel colors. The amount of colors is up to you. This one I used 3 different colors. This one I changed colors every row. This one I wanted it to look a little bit more like a flower, so I did the center white, 2 rows of the variegated, and then the red and blue. It's still patriotic, but you can also kind of spot that flower in the middle. And by changing your colors different ways, you get completely different looks. And so have fun and experiment. I really recommend, if you go to the store, because you can find these circles at Hobby Lobby, you can find them at Joann's and Michael's, and I've also seen them at Walmart as well in their craft department. And being $1.29 is super inexpensive, and I would get several of these like I did and just have some fun with your yarn scraps. All right, and so I'm going to be using these colors. You're going to need a pair of scissors, of course, and a needle just for weaving in those ends. We're going to begin in the center and make the flower portion and then the edge, and then we'll attach it to our ring and form the little hanger. So I'm starting with the color that I want to start in the middle. I'm going to start with my slip knot, and I'm going to chain 5 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to join this into a circle, and if you would prefer to use a magic circle or another method for your circle, go right ahead. Now what we're going to do is in this circle, we're going to start with 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 chains count as a double crochet chain 1. And now we're going to stitch 11 more double crochet chain 1, and that will give us a total of 12. And we're going to place them right in this circle. This will be a tight fit, and so what I do is I just do my double crochet chain 1 and scoot it around. And you'll also notice I'm stitching over my tail of yarn. That way I can weave that in when I'm done. Scooch those around. This is one of those projects I do recommend that you stitch a little bit tighter if you are a loose crocheter, because we don't want the circle to be droopy when we put it onto our ring. All right, let's see how many of these I've stitched. Here's my beginning chain 4, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I need 2 more, so I have a total of 12. So that's 11 and 12. I'm going to join to the 3rd chain of my beginning chain 4 with a slip stitch. All right, before I do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over and just gently pull on that. And I'm going to go ahead and weave this in. Now, when you're changing colors, which I'm going to change almost every row, you're going to have, of course, a few ends to weave in. But I like to go ahead and do this first one. I think it just helps everything lay better. It closes up the hole. There we go. And makes everything lay nice and smooth. Give it a good tug. Grab those scissors. Clip that off. And so for round 1, we have 12 sets of double crochet chain 1. So I've cut my yarn and I'm going to bring in my color 2. So I've got my pink on here. That's what I'm using for my next color. And we're going to go in this first chain 1 space and stitch a single crochet. Now we're going to go in the next chain 1 space and we're going to stitch 2 double crochets. Oops, got a string there. 1 and 2 and chain 1 and then 2 double crochets in this same chain 1 space. Now we'll go to the next chain 1 space and stitch a single crochet. Then we'll go to the next chain 1 space and stitch 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets. And now what we did here, we're going to repeat around. So single crochet in the next, and then 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets. Chain 1 in the next chain 1 space and repeat all the way around. And you'll end up with 6 petals. And it should be laying nice and flat by this point. On the first row, if it curled up just a little bit, that was okay because we crunched in a whole bunch of those double crochet chain 1s. But when you get to this point, you should have a nice flat laying flower. All right, so here's my last set of 2 double crochets. We'll try that again. There we go. 1, 2, a little bit of a tangle there. Chain 1 and 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. All right, and so now we're going to join to that first single crochet with a slip stitch. All right, so let's take a look at that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 petals of 2 double crochet, chain 1 and 2 double crochets with the single crochets in between. And that's the way that round 2 should look. I've cut my yarn because I'm changing colors to this pretty lavender color. So I'm going to bring it in, snug everything down, and we're going to single crochet right in this first single crochet and chain 1. Now we're going to move to the chain 1 space of the first petal, and we're going to do what we did on the previous row. We're going to stitch 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets. Chain 1 and single crochet in the single crochet and chain 1. And so really we're doing the same thing we did on row 2 or round 2. Only difference is we're adding a chain 1 before and after that single crochet. So 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, chain 1 and 2 double crochets in that chain 1 space. If I can keep my loops on my hook. There we go. Chain 1, single crochet in the single crochet, and chain 1. Then we go to the next chain 1 space and stitch 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets. And chain 1, single crochet in the single crochet. Isn't that pretty? I'm really liking how the pastel is looking. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to repeat this on these last 3 petals. So we have 6 petals that look the same. I have completed round 3, and again I have 6 petals of 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, and then we have chain 1, single crochet, chain 1 in between our petals. All right, so now I'm going to bring in my 4th color, and I cut my purple yarn. And we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This chain 4 counts as a double crochet chain 1. And so now I'm going to double crochet in that single crochet. And chain 2. Now we're going to move over here to the chain 1 space. And in this chain 1 space, we're going to stitch a half double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet, and then chain 2. Then we'll move to the next single crochet, and we're going to stitch a double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet, and chain 2. Then we'll go to the next chain 1 space in the next petal, and we'll stitch a half double crochet, chain 1 and half double crochet, and chain 2. And so you can see how the pattern is working. When we go to the single crochet, we stitch a double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet right in that single crochet stitch. Then we'll chain 2. We'll go to the chain 1 space of the next petal, and we'll stitch a half double crochet, chain 1 and half double crochet, chain 2. Okay, so let's take a look at it. So we'll repeat this around. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the single crochet, chain 2, and then half double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet in the chain 1 space, and then chain 2. And then we'll repeat this all the way around. So I've repeated this all the way around. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the single crochet, chain 2, half double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet in the chain 1 space of the petal, and chain 2. So I'm going to join to the third chain of my beginning chain 4. I'm not changing colors here, so I'm going to go right in that chain 1 space and stitch a single crochet. Now I'm going to chain 2. We're going to go in this chain 1 space and stitch a single crochet and chain 2. Now we'll go into the chain 1 space between the half double crochets, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in the chain 2 space and chain 2, single crochet in the chain 1 space, chain 2, single crochet in the chain 2 space, chain 2, single crochet in the chain 1 space, and chain 2. So basically we're doing single crochets, chain 2 all the way around, and this is going to help it to form the circle that we need to attach it to our metal ring or plastic ring, whichever you're using. Single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, and we'll repeat this all the way around and join back to that first single crochet. So I have completed round 5, stitching those single crochets, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2 all the way around. I've gone ahead and cut my yarn because this last row I'm going to use this green. All right, so I'm going to bring in my green. I'm going to go in this chain 2 space and just make a slip stitch. All right, now comes the fun part. We're going to put it on our ring. It should be a little bit smaller than your ring because you want it to sort of stretch and fit. You don't want it to droop. That's why I think when you're doing this particular project, if you're a loose crocheter, you need to tighten up your tension or your gauge just a little bit so that it gets a nice fit. You don't want it drooping on you, okay? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to hold the ring and our project. I'm going to go ahead and make that chain 1 there. And yes, I have a lot of weaving in to do because I changed colors a lot. All right, so in this first chain 2 space, we're going to go around the ring and stitch 2 single crochets. When you first start doing this, this is going to be just a little bit clumsy, but it's okay. Just keep with it. Now we'll chain 1. We'll go to the next chain 2 space and stitch 2 single crochets. And we're going around the ring, chain 1. And that's a little bit noisy. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to hold it up so it doesn't do that. All right. So we'll go to the next chain 2 space, stitch 2 single crochets around the ring, and chain 1. Go to the next chain 2 space, 2 single crochets around the ring, and chain 1. And so we're stitching through this and through the ring at the same time. And we're stitching 2 single crochets in those chain 2 spaces and chaining 1. And this is what's going to hold it onto your ring. And we'll do this all the way around the ring in our mandala or however you want to call this. It's been pronounced lots of different ways. Do that chain 1. Let's take a look how it looks this way and see how that's forming on there. You want it to stretch just a little bit. One thing to keep in mind about this, yarn is stretchy, and that's why I have said a couple of times, tighten up your tension or go down a hook size if you are a loose crocheter. I am a loose crocheter myself, and so I'm tightening up my tension a little bit for this project. All right, so we're going to keep working around the ring, stitching it on with those chain 2 spaces, 2 single crochets, chain 1, 2 single crochets, chain 1. And we're going to keep doing that, chain 1, all the way around, and then we'll join back to that first single crochet when we get around here. Isn't that pretty how that's looking? I'm really liking how the pastel one is turning out as well. So I have repeated this all the way around, 2 single crochets in the chain 2 spaces, chain 1, all the way around. Here's my last 2. I'm going to chain 1 and join to that first single crochet with a slip stitch. Now we want to make that little hanger that's on the top, and it's really simple. We're going to chain 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now, if you want your hanger to be longer or shorter, you can adjust that there. And we're just going to come right back into that same single crochet with a slip stitch. All right, and cut our yarn. I'm just going to tie that off. There we go. And we'll pull that to the back. And it looks really pretty on the front, doesn't it? Not so pretty on the back. I have a little bit of work to do here to weave in these ends, and I will do that with my needle, but I want you to see how beautiful that looks with the pastel. And like I said, you can use whatever colors you want, whatever shades. You can even do it all in one color. I think it would be beautiful in an off-white against a bright background. So use your imagination and get in your yarn stash. Now I'm going to tidy mine up. So here is our pastel one that I completed. And then this, of course, is the ombre one. This is done with some leftover Vanna's Choice in that sort of mottled yarn. And then, of course, the patriotic one. And so there's lots of opportunities and possibilities to make these in lots of different colors. I think I'm going to make some in some tropical colors because I want to put some around my fountain as well in my on my porch where we have our swing and fountain. I think it'd be really pretty. So make some, will you? They're so much fun. I love a project like this where we can take all our scrap yarns and make something fun. They make great gifts. They can brighten up a room, and they're super easy. And look how different each one looks with all the different colors. They're all different and unique. So I'll see you next week on Friday Fun Day for another fun project. Bye-bye now.